welcome back to the 4th week of Life in the Forest with me, Katherine. If you haven't been here before, my name is Katherine. I am an AmeriCorps member with the Vermont Land Trust. I serve at a really cool place called Bluffside Farm in Newport, Vermont. I am the Education and Outreach Coordinator for the Vermont Land Trust, so I get to make fun activities for students to learn more about the place they live in. Last week, we learned how to identify 5 different types of trees that are very common in Vermont, especially here at Bluffside Farm. And this week, we are going to talk about special characteristics that each tree has that helps them to survive in Vermont and at Bluffside Farm. You know as well as I do that Vermont is cold, dark, and snowy in the winter, and that as spring and summer come along, the days get warmer and lighter. In the fall, the days start to get shorter again, and the temperatures drop. What special attributes or characteristics do trees have that help them grow healthy and strong in weather like this? In addition, a lot of the soil here at Bluffside is pretty sandy because we have a beautiful natural beach along the shores of Lake Memphremagog. Some trees have special traits that help them grow in this type of soil. The traits that trees have that help them live and grow in specific areas are called adaptations. Trees can live and grow in a wide range of places, and their adaptations give them the chance to grow well in places throughout that range. Remember that you can take notes, color, and doodle while you watch and listen. There is a guided reflection page that comes with every episode that you can fill out at the end of the show. Last week, we identified 3 deciduous trees. Remember, deciduous trees lose their leaves once a year. Not having leaves in the winter helps them save energy and water. Last week, we identified 2 different types of conifers. Conifers have needles year-round, and they shed some needles throughout the whole year so that they do not have to grow more needles all at once. This helps them conserve energy. Last week, we found the sugar maple pretty close to Lake Memphremagog, and it can survive in these sandier soils because it has extensive roots. Also, most trees have sap, but sugar maples are famous for their sap that makes maple syrup. When it gets really cold, the sap that is above ground has extra sugar in it, and the sugar in this sap helps to keep the tree from freezing. The red oak also has an extensive root system that helps it survive in sandy soil. Last week, we talked about how red oaks have a special taproot that reaches way down into the ground to get water. This taproot starts to grow as soon as the seed germinates, and that helps it get really strong and survive even in dry conditions right when the seed first starts growing. And as the seed grows more, the roots will start to spread out along with the taproot. Remember the beautiful birch that we looked at last week? This is the white birch, and it also loses its leaves every year to save water and energy. The light color of the bark can help the tree maintain a stable temperature because the light color does not absorb as much heat, so it doesn't go from extremes of warm and cold as quickly, and that helps protect it. Also, the birch trees like a lot of sun, so they grow really well in forests that have a very open canopy. The flexible branches of birches are harder to break under heavy snow. Here we have a red pine, and last week we talked about the distinct bark of a red pine, and this bark actually helps protect the red pine against fire. It's a very protective and thick bark, and even though fire is not the most common type of disturbance in Vermont, this bark is really well suited to deal with fire. In addition, the red pine has lateral roots, that means they reach out instead of down, but they do send out sinker roots that help keep the tree in place in case it gets windy or if the weather gets bad. Okay, the last tree that we are going to talk about today is the eastern white pine. And this tree is really special, especially at Bluffside, because it is a great pioneer species, and that means that in an area of regrowth, it is one of the first ones to show up. And you can see there are tons of younger eastern white pines in the area that I was just showing you. Something special about eastern white pines is that they grow really fast and they get to be very, very tall, and that helps them be home to some really cool animals like the bald eagles that are at Bluffside, because the eagles can make their nest up there and then watch what's coming around them because they're up really high in that tree. And these trees are also evergreen, which means that they have those waxy needles that help retain moisture. That's it for today's episode. It was a little bit shorter, but I hope that you learned a lot from it. So next time that you're out and you notice trees that you can identify now, you can think about where you notice them, what the weather is like there, how much sun are they getting, and you can kind of think about these special attributes that different trees have that help them survive in those different places. These details about trees are really cool to know because it can tell you a lot more about the place you live or the place that you're maybe visiting, and different places that are special to you. So don't forget to check out the guided reflection page that comes along with this episode, and come back because there are 2 more weeks of life in the forest. Bye!